superpowers again? You talk to the ants, is that it?
Well, partly, but mainly I shrink myself down to the size of an ant while retaining my full human strength.
Really?
Yes.
That's really impressive. You must be able to clean house on those other ants.
I wonder where Clark is.
Oh, don't worry about Clark. I have a feeling he'll show up sometime tonight.
Well, maybe I could call him and ask him to bring some ice. We're sort of running low on ice.
More ice?
Yeah.
Excuse me. A minute, my love. I'll be right back.
Oh, boy, did you see the love handles on the Flash?
I mean, since the Justice League of America wiped out all the supervillains, these guys have nothing to do.
Tell me about it. Have you seen the Green Lantern? It's unbelievable. He looks like Orson Welles.
Oh, hey, Lizzie! Hey, how are the kids? I haven't seen you in the studio for a while. Oh, yeah, I get it. I keep a low profile too. I hear ICE is deporting people to the Phantom Zone. But hey, I hate to say it though, but you're literally white. Why would they? Oh, I see. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, I stopped using social media because of my in-laws. But what kept me off was, not supporting genocide. That and the neo-Nazis. So, I'm with you. But yeah, I guess that is one of the advantages of you being completely white. Well, have you seen Voltan tonight? Oh, really? Really? When did you guys have a... Oh, okay. Yeah, I get it. I mean, don't be ashamed. Everybody has that story from one of our company Christmas parties. Yeah, you can be clingy. And loud. Did you see what Arthur Dent pulled on Thor this year? Okay, so Thor started hitting on Arthur's latest crush, right? And Arthur asked him to step outside. Since Thor had to check Mjolnir at the door and the office building hovers about 10,000 feet in the air, Yeah, exactly. Let's hope Ragnarok happens soon, am I right? Well, feel free, you've got a lot of punch. Go mingle the best you can. Oh, hey! Welcome back to Dispatch Ajax. We're in the middle of our Life Day office party, which we placed in between our Christmas party and the New Year party because of where Hanukkah, Ramadan, Kwanzaa all fell this year. It was the best we could do. Jake has been deployed to the off-world colonies this week, so... What? No. Oh, no. It's more of a USO tour. Yeah, actually, he does this whole, gymnastics variety show to a medley of Thin Lizzy. What? No, the band. Never mind. Anyway, I'm here alone, throwing this party back at the Geekdom Sanctorum compound in Eternia, which, yeah, sure can be stressful. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate it. It's very kind of you. I take a certain amount of pride in my ability to throw an effective party. But you know what they say, any holiday party you can walk away from, right? Yep, that's right. Got another one this week for the Julian calendar New Year. We're expecting some sort of inversion with the Tommy Westphal universe. I know, it's honestly the most stressful part of the year. Well, it's just a matter of experience, creativity, and having a plan, really. Yeah? Well, I mean, I guess I could give you some tips on the DL. Here, let's go over to where the Avatar movie fans meander. It's way more quiet. So, for a successful New Year's party, you're going to need some basic elements. In some cases, literally. You'll need some atmosphere, hopefully the M-class variety, decor, music, some sort of visual media. You'll also need food, drinks, alcoholic, synthaholic, and boring. I mean, non-alcoholic, and the like. Let's start with decorations, okay? So for a party like this, appearances are everything. This is your opportunity to show your friends and loved ones your true colors and let your geek flag fly for the new year. I know. Now, there are 1,000 ways to do this, and the creativity of DIY decorations can be the most fun part, honestly. You want everyone to know how clever you are and how much geek cred you peddle, right? Alright, let me give you some ideas to get the brain juices flowing. It'll be up to you to walk through that Stargate yourself. Why don't you start with something like, why not welcome your guests with banners, signs, or standees? These are all very handy.
Take a look at Banner, Michael!
Feel free to make them obviously as normie, accessible, or as deep-cut geeky as you see fit. Let's see here. Well, here's a bad example. A banner where each piece is an element of the periodic table. Let's see, off the top of my head, let's say nitrogen, erbium, dysprosium, phosphorus, argon, and titanium. I'll let you write that out. I know, I told you it was bad. Or how about one spelled out all in binary? It'd be long, but it'd be pretty fun. Or how about a Happy New Year sign made out of a light bright? Or an Etch-a-Sketch? Just make sure that your food and drink spreads are well labeled with signs or standees. One, because you don't want to constantly answer questions about what and where things are, but because some of your guests, may not drink alcohol, may have dietary restrictions, or allergy issues. Like a sign that says, use the forks, or Admiral Snack Bar. Feel free to use papercraft for decorations, because putting out action figures or models can be a costly mistake if some of your guests aren't quite on the level or leveled out. There are multitudes of printable papercraft templates and DIY instructables out there, easily found through, basic internet search, even if Google sucks now. If you don't feel like much of a craftsman, but you want to support the real human artist, perhaps one who's even more human than human, check out Etsy. You'll easily fall down a Sarlacc pit of incredible options there. Okay, so let's say you've come up with some ideas, you've brainstormed, you've got some things coming in the mail, or you got them to your local craft store, or what have you. And let's say you're knocking it out of the park. So you might as well justify your decor with stuff to label, right? You want to keep your partygoers engaged and fed. Bread and circuses and all that. You all know the expression, every party is only 3 missed snacks away from revolution, right? When I was first starting out, I came across an insane number of recipes and dishes that I thought were hilarious. But many of them really weren't meant for parties or really didn't qualify as finger food. So, I left most of them by the wayside. They are funny, but, they don't quite work in this context. Things like Dr. Doom's Lima Bean Chowder, which serves 2, according to the recipe, 1 10-ounce package frozen lima beans in cheese sauce. Didn't know that was a thing. A small onion minced, 2 tablespoons margarine, 2 cups milk, salt and pepper, and croutons. You do this by defrosting lima beans in a boiling saucepan. Imagine boiling in water in a saucepan, I guess. I don't really know. Fry onions in margarine until they're transparent. Stir in lima beans, milk, salt, and pepper, and heat slowly. Stir, pour into serving bowls, and top with croutons. This comes from a very specific cookbook, The Mighty Marvel Superheroes Cookbook from 1977. The page I got it from is pretty great. It's the Scarlet Witch screaming at Dr. Doom through a different panel, soup to nut. Or Doctor Strange's Mysterious Stew. Boy, do I not want to know what's in that, but I'm gonna tell you. 2 cans beef bouillon, 4 carrots cut into small pieces, 2 onions chopped, 3 ripe tomatoes cut into quarters, 2 medium-sized potatoes pared and thinly sliced, 1/2 teaspoon pepper, 1 teaspoon salt, 2 teaspoons margarine. In a large pot, combine bouillon, carrots, and potatoes. Cook over medium heat. Yeah, you could use a Dutch oven, I guess. It's not really all that complicated. Here's one of my favorites. Full-page recipe with Tony Stark, the Iron Man, punching something, not sure what. The onomatopoeia above his head says, tang, and his word bubble says, I get my iron from beef liver. And then below it, an unnamed person, I guess a narrator, because it's not one of the word boxes that's usually done by a narrator or the editor or whatever. It's just a different word bubble with no discernible accreditation that says, same as Stan Lee. And the recipe is specifically beef liver with rice. 2 tablespoons margarine, 1 pound sliced beef liver cut in 1-inch squares, a 1/4 cup chopped green pepper, a 1/4 cup chopped celery, 1 medium onion diced, 1 can tomato sauce, 1 can tomatoes, 1 teaspoon salt, 3 cups cooked rice, and parsley flakes. In a medium frying pan, melt margarine over a slow heat. Melt margarine over a low heat. Cook liver, pepper, celery, and onion until liver is lightly browned and vegetables are tender. Add tomato sauce, tomatoes, rice, and salt. Pour into a greased 1.5 quart casserole dish and bake at 350 degrees for 25 minutes. When done, spread salt with parsley, don't really know what that means, and serve hot. Then they have an alternate recipe of chicken livers in shells, which is 2 strips bacon, half pound of chicken livers, 1/4 cup chopped onion, 1 can condensed cream of chicken soup, 1/3 cup milk, 1/4 teaspoon paprika, 4 patty shells. I don't think we're going to try that, so I'm not even going to go into it. I also found a recipe for Alfred Pennyworth's mulligatawny soup, which, you know what, sounds delicious, but probably not great for parties. That came from the gluttonousgeek.com. And one of the most disturbing ones I found was in this Marvel cookbook. It had Howard the Duck not introducing the recipe, and multiple recipes on this page, but in a distressed pose with 2 thought bubbles coming out of either side of his head, one with a baked bird of some sort, and the other one with a bird on a spit. He's sweating bullets and dabbing his forehead. And the recipes are barbecue chicken, stewed chicken, southern fried chicken, chicken a la king, and then at the end, he's running away from the frame. Or, these are some good ones, though you might be able to adapt these into party recipes. Submariner's Submarine, where he literally says, whet your appetite. That's good stuff. Hulk's Sloppy Joe. Spider-Man's Parmigiani, where he has a strange word bubble that says gooey cheese! Exclamation mark. Torch's Fireball, which is a spicy fireball recipe by the Human Torch, and Captain America's Americana Hero, which you also might be able to turn into a party dish, but I feel like you're missing the boat. You could have just called it American Hero, but what have you. There is one I found that is subtly racist called Sneaky Snacks, where Black Panther is stealing food out of someone's refrigerator. Kebabs, wraps, pinwheels. There's something with a sausage in the middle of a celery. I don't know. I mean, you could probably do something like that, but I don't know if you like the implication or not. Or you could just be even more dismissive of Black Panther with Black Panther's snack with chips. All it says is trim the crust from the ends of bread slices, spread bread slices with your favorite filling, cut sandwiches into fourths, and make tiny squares. And then they say to add chips on the side and a bowl full of olives. But you can do bulk things too, like if you want to make a pizza for everybody, you could do that. I've seen people make pizzas with a ring of pepperoni, then just plain mozzarella and a ring of pepperoni and mozzarella, and then another ring of pepperoni in the middle, and then a mozzarella provolone maybe cut out star in the middle. I've seen the same thing with fruit dip, or just fruit platters in general. Like a ring of strawberries, and then marshmallows, and then a ring of strawberries, and then blueberries, and then tinier marshmallows in the middle in the shape of a star. I mean, that goes over well. If you don't want to do anything complicated, you could always just take blocks of cheese, cheddar, Monterey Jack, Colby Jack. Those are all great options. Cut them into rectangle pieces, about an inch long or so, and then stick a pretzel stick in the middle, and suddenly you have Mjolnir bites. And trust me, you will be able to wield them. Here's another DC classic, Firestorm's Roasted Corn Salad. In the recipe it says, naturally Firestorm likes his corn flame roasted. You can roast yours on the stovetop. The ingredients are 12 to 14 ounce bag of frozen corn. You could probably use canned corn too. 1 tablespoon butter, 1/4 cup red pepper, diced, salt and pepper, 1 yellow pepper cut into triangles, 1 orange pepper cut into triangles. Cook a package of frozen corn according to the package directions, or just heat up a can of corn. Drain, then saute in a pan of melted butter until some of the kernels turn golden brown. Texture like sun. Then toss with red pepper squares and salt and pepper. Place in a serving bowl and adorn with triangle pepper shapes around the outside. And man, I don't really want to get into what I found about the old 70s kung fu recipes. They do not age well. So let's just say the headline for this entire section is Kung Fu Breakfast in Bangkok, a reference to the play chess. I don't know, maybe I'm crazy. Then I found a bunch of instructions on how to make a Justice League pizza party, which sounded really cool, and I thought they were going to be really specific. However, honestly, they just talked about making individual pizzas and then using different ingredients to cut out the shapes of the logos of the superheroes and putting them on top. Most of them are pretty lame. And trust me, there are a lot of other really questionable things in a lot of my research, including Power Man's Fillet of Soul. Power Man, Luke Cage, with a word bubble above his head that says, "Bless my soul." I skipped over that for a good reason. Here's one that you actually legitimately might be able to use. Thor's cabbage rolls, where Thor says, quote, "Verily, here is a taste that doth please the gods." You take 8 large cabbage leaves, 1 pound ground beef, 1 cup cooked rice, 1 teaspoon onion flakes, 1 egg, slightly beaten, 1 teaspoon salt, 1 can of condensed tomato soup. You cook cabbage leaves in boiling salted water for a few minutes until softened, then drain into a paper towel. In a bowl, combine beef, rice, onion flakes, egg, and salt. Add 4 tablespoons of soup. Lay out cabbage leaves and divide meat mixture into each one. Roll leaves and secure with toothpicks. Then place the cabbage rolls into a frying pan. Pour remaining soup all over it. Cover and cook over low heat for 40 minutes. Stir often, spooning soup over the rolls. Then at the bottom it has the ever-loving blue-eyed thing, the pride of Yancey Street, and his great aunt Petunia, saying, "In other words, folks, they're Thorific." That's a ringing endorsement. Of course, Marvel doesn't have a monopoly on all this kind of thing, obviously. I found a recipe for heat vision grilled cheese, where it says if you don't have the power of heat vision, just use the stove to melt your cheese. Sage wisdom. It says make grilled cheese in a buttered pan on the stove using whichever kind of bread and cheese you prefer. Thanks for the direction. Serve with a dollop of mustard. Okay. But it says to make it extra special, which means the only reason that this is a superhero recipe, use a shield cookie cutter, and by shield they mean the Superman emblem, to trim a slice of American cheese into the shape of Superman's S-shield, lay the Superman stencil from the back of the cookbook itself, literally the cookbook, on top of the cheese, and sprinkle paprika onto the cheese, then remove the stencil, giving your sandwich the official seal of the House of L. But it isn't exclusive to the world of comic books. I did find a recipe for Klingon gak, udon noodles, stir-fry sauce, soy sauce, and arugula. You just prepare the udon noodles to whatever scale you wish. Toss in brown stir-fry sauce, then soy sauce for color. Pan-fry the noodles in a wok to caramelize the sauce combination. Garnish the bowl with arugula, then serve noodles over an arugula salad. Pretty simple. And trust me, we're inclusive of all geek fandom. That's the entire idea. So how about you make some finger food for Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, like white chocolate and lemon truffles. Decorate them to look like the prophecies that are kept in the Ministry of Magic. So it basically takes vanilla, raspberry, strawberry, mint. They could all work. Your ingredients are white chocolate, lemon truffle mix, which is 400 grams or 14 ounces of white chocolate, 150 milliliters or 5.5 ounces of double heavy cream, or just double cream or heavy cream, depending on if you're in the UK or the US, 1 to 2 teaspoons lemon extract, or flavor of your choice, it doesn't really matter. And then to decorate, your ingredients would be 250 grams or 8.75 ounces of white chocolate, blue food coloring, and edible silver glitter, which is optional, but does really make it pop. You mix the truffle mix up, melt the white chocolate in a microwave-safe bowl for about 20-second bursts, and stirring in between so it doesn't catch or stiffen. Once all that's melted, whisk in the cream and the extract until it's smooth. Pour into a container and chill for at least 5 hours or overnight. Once it's set, sit a spoon or a melon baller or ice cream scoop in a mug of hot boiling water to warm it up. Then put down a baking tray, line it with parchment paper or some sort of greased paper, and then with the melon baller, scoop out balls of the truffle mix and place them on top of the lined baking paper. Then dip your instrument back into the water to keep it warm, and keep going over and over again. Scoop any remaining scraps of the truffle mix, roll the shapes out by hand. No one will care. Then chill these truffles in the fridge for about an hour. Now, if you want to make the decorations, it's a little more complicated, but it's totally worth it. Over a double boiler, or a pot of simmering hot water, or a bain-marie, melt white chocolate. Double boiler, I think, is probably the preferred method to do so. Gradually add food coloring. Whisk into the white chocolate until you've made the shade that you are happy with. Once the chocolate's cooled, get your truffles out of the fridge, dip them in using tongs or a couple of spoons, but you gotta work fast, it's gonna cool fast. Then place them back out of the tray and back into the fridge until they are completely set. And then, at the end of the whole scenario, spray the edible silver glitter if you really want to impress your guests. Or if you want to stay in the wizarding world of Harry Potter, you can make Harry Potter dragon egg cake balls, which are very similar, but they're basically cake pops. It's all kind of the same thing, it's just how you want to represent them physically. If you want a fun dessert to go along with that, I would suggest Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom chilled monkey brains, which is essentially just a snow cone with watermelon syrup all over it. It'll look exactly the same and everyone will be fooled. And then if you don't want to put a lot of work into baking or that kind of thing, you can very easily just grab off-the-shelf candies, fill a jar full of Rolos and say, Hans Rolos. Or do what Jake and I did one time for a party, our first geek party. We got a bunch of those candy orange slices and put them in a bowl labeled the Spice Melange. And Jake dressed as the Quetzalcoatl, and by that I mean he wore a black unitard and a black cape, and sat on top of a counter and pontificated about being the super being. But you can do all sorts of fun things with it. Trust me, there are many recipes. Have fun with it. These are just ideas to sort of get you going. Let's move on to the highlight of any social gathering, the booze. Now, some of these drinks come from real places like Quark's Bar at the Star Trek Experience in Las Vegas Hilton. I wouldn't suggest necessarily using all of these, and I'll explain why here in a second. One of the first ones I thought that was really amusing was the James T. Kirk, that is TEA. It is 3/4 of an ounce of Bacardi Superior, or other white rum, 3/4 of an ounce of gin, 3/4 of an ounce of vodka, 3/4 of an ounce of blue curacao, an ounce of Sprite, 7-Up, or really any kind of lemon lime thing, and 1 ounce of sweet and sour mix. Mix those together and then pour over ice. An alternate to this that I have read in a couple of places, 1 1/4 ounce gin, 1 1/4 ounce citrus Smirnoff, 1 1/4 ounce regular vodka, 1 1/4 ounce blue curacao, 1 1/4 ounce Bacardi Superior, or any white rum, and then 30 ounces sweet and sour mix. I've also seen Captain Kirk's Alien Sex on the Beach. That comes from geeksaresexy.net, and all you require for that is 1 ounce Grant's whiskey and 2.5 ounces pink champagne. Pour, garnish with a strawberry, and enjoy. I've also seen The Joker. 3/4 ounce Rumpelmint's peppermint liqueur, 3/4 ounce Jägermeister, 3/4 ounce Goldschlager, oh boy, 3/4 ounce Black House, blackberry schnapps, mix, and revolt. And what geek party wouldn't be complete without the Flaming Homer? 1 ounce blackberry liqueur, 1 ounce brandy, 1 ounce peppermint schnapps, 1 ounce sloe gin, 1 ounce strawberry juice, nice, and then 1 ounce children's cough syrup. And I will not advise you on how to do the rest. Just watch the episode. But if you want the Flaming Mo, which is a slightly different variant, 4 ounces tequila, 4 ounces peppermint schnapps, 4 ounces creme de menthe, 2 ounces grape soda. Mix ingredients in a shaker, strain into a glass, and then pray you don't go blind. One of the other classic single cocktails I ever saw was the Qui-Gon Gin Singer. This was regionally specific. It's by a bartender named Billy Atchison, the co-founder of Banjo Cold Brew Coffee in Atlanta. Quote, sweetened cold brew coffee gives it enough edge to win at any pod race, said Atchison. And the smooth gin plus lemon ensures that any Jedi can keep his cool when negotiations seems to be failing. Ah, yes, the tense drama of trade negotiations in the first prequels. Jesus Christ. Your ingredients are 2 ounces of Boylan Heritage Tonic Water. Now, Boylan is a great soda company, one of my favorites of the craft soda companies. 2 ounces Old Fourth Distillery Gin, 6 ounces Banjo Sweetly Tuned Cold Brew Coffee, and then garnish with a lemon peel. Pour the tonic over a highball glass filled with ice and set aside. Add the gin and coffee into a mixing glass. Stir. Pour the mixture over the tonic, express the oil of a lemon peel, and that is a process, you can look that up, over the glass, and then drop in garnish. Now, these are fun cocktails, and I'm sure they're all great, and I left a bunch on the floor, but that is because this is a party, and it's way more advantageous to make this type of thing in bulk as a punch or poured from a pitcher or carafe. In that vein, I would suggest these tried and true concoctions guaranteed to make your guests say, engage. Tranya. It's called Tranya. I'm just mad for it. Of course, this is a reference to the drink that Clint Howard had in the Corbomite maneuver from the first season of Star Trek, the original series. 1 ounce coconut rum, 1 ounce peach tree schnapps, a 1/4 ounce amaretto, 2 ounces cranberry juice, 2 ounces pineapple juice. You mix them together and then float the amaretto on the top and enjoy. Now, what I would do, if you really want to make this authentic, is make this into a big punch bowl and add dry ice. Trust me, it'll make all the difference. Another similar drink would be the Warp Core Breach. This was actually also from Cork's Bar at the Star Trek experience at the Las Vegas Hilton. And in fact, showed up in an episode of Deep Space Nine after it was shown commercially at Cork's Bar in Las Vegas. Art imitating life. Now, they serve this normally in a big fish bowl, but it would work very well as a punch. The amount of ingredients should be scaled up or down, depending on how many people you have over. Take 4.5 ounces of Bacardi Superior, or any cheap white rum, 3 ounces of Bacardi Limon, or anything similar, 1.5 ounces of Bacardi Select, or Myers Dark Rum, which is a superior rum, trust me, 1.5 ounces of Bacardi Spiced Rum, Captain Morgan's, or whatever spiced rum you can find, 1.5 ounces of De Kuyper Razzmatazz, 3/4 ounce of a 151 proof rum, which is kind of hard to find nowadays. I don't even know if they make Bacardi 151 anymore. And then 30 ounces of Welch's Mountain Berry. Now, the original recipe for this required Sobe Power Fruit Punch, which they haven't made in years. Mix it all up, put it in a bowl with any food grade dry ice. There's your Warp Core Breach. Vibranium Punch. 1 liter vodka, 1 liter tequila, 1 liter rum, 12 ounce triple sec, 64 ounces cran grape juice, 12 ounces blue curacao, 12 ounces grenadine, a splash of lime or margarita mix. Put it in a 2-gallon jug or bowl, mix all the ingredients together, chill, and serve immediately. But don't alienate those who aren't drinking liquor. There are DDs, there are people who are allergic, there are people who just don't drink. Don't make them feel guilty or left out. It's really important, actually. So make sure that you have stations that seem equally as fun and festive. Like, I don't know, come up with a picture of Yoda Soda, or Vaderade, or Luke Skywalker. Make sure that everyone feels included. This is very important. Now, with all of these things set, you also want to set a mood, a tone. You want people to feel comfortable and feel the energy in the room. I would suggest music that is both geeky and engaging, and yet relatively forgettable. Unless a dance party breaks out later, you want something that plays in the background that everyone enjoys, but isn't something that people have to stop and pay attention to. I would suggest 2 different things, and I have done these both at parties. It's still available, you can still find it, but it is not as readily available as it was 20 years ago. Look up Star Wars breakbeats. It's exactly what it sounds like. I won't spoil it for you here, just listen and you'll get it. I would also suggest, and this is something that I have done in person, physically, at a party that I hosted MC Chris, an album by the American musician Miko, released through Millennium Records in 1977, called Star Wars and Other Galactic Funk, which is essentially a long play disco album featuring Star Wars music and other random jazz fusion inspired sci-fi soundtracks. Definitely something that will set the tone and at least be a conversation starter. It is the spiritual origin for something like Star Wars breakbeats, and there have been plenty of examples since those things came out. These are just your jumping off points. Now, when it comes to visual media, because it does help. I mean, we're geeks. We like movies and TV shows and comic books and the like. It's not a bad idea to have something on in the background visually. Now, from my perspective, if you're not going to make your music sync up to your visual media directly, which is fine, you can do that, I would suggest something like the movie Zardoz in the background, on mute, on every TV possible. Zardoz is an absurd film and a definite conversation starter, and one of the geekiest films ever made, and will definitely keep your guests intrigued, but not so much that they have to sit and watch a narrative they think that makes sense. I mean, if you have some sort of playlist of YouTube videos that you think works that aren't interrupted by commercials constantly, then I would put on Zardoz, followed by Barbarella, followed by something like Flash Gordon, 1980, in some order, however you see fit. That'll at least keep your guests entertained, engaged but not glued to the television, and willing to talk about the things that they see on TV with each other. Oh, do you remember when that happened? What is this? Please tell me about this. With the music going on, the atmosphere you've built, the booze you've made, the food you've prepared, the decor that sets the atmosphere you wish. This will give you a successful New Year's party. But there's one last thing. For a fun visual punch to your countdown to the new year, I would suggest putting on Avengers Infinity War. Now, you can do it in two ways, both of which are valid. One of which I think is much more optimistic. The other is much more dramatic. Well, they're both pretty dramatic. The first, it's pretty simple. Just start Avengers Infinity War at exactly 10, 14, and 32 seconds. Then, the moment that Thor lands with Stormbreaker on the ground in Wakanda, we'll hit it exactly midnight. And it's great. I've done it multiple times. However, if you want to set a different tone, depending on your attitude about the new year and the year before, start Avengers Infinity War at exactly 9:48 and 53 seconds. And midnight will hit exactly when Thanos snaps his fingers. This is all a personal choice of yours. I know which one I'd go for.
It's Clark Kent. Of course, Clark Kent is Superman. That's it. Okay, out. Get out. Everybody out. All right. Come on. Get out of here. All right. You knew all along, didn't you, Flick? Get out of here. Buddy, everybody out.